Did you ever race swap a character?
What?
Whether it's a comic book character, whether it's an anime character, whether it's from a fantasy show, whatever. Did you ever race swap?
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Should a main character like Goku, Naruto, Superman, any popular character in media be race swapped? Should that be a thing? Is it important? Doesn't matter. Depending on who you talk to, race swapping is a big deal. Some people on this side think that you should never do it. That if you race swap, that if you change the color of someone else's skin, that it takes away something from the plot of the story. It takes away from the integrity or intention or the purpose of a certain character. It takes away from the way that the artist intended it to be. And every now and again, this is a thing, something that sparks backlash. Even if you are a cosplayer, certain cosplayers have faced backlash for dressing as a certain character because they weren't the ethnicity or color of a certain character. Now, if you're like me, if you're on the side of, race swapping is, shouldn't matter. Unless like the race or the ethnicity is important to the story, then race swapping it's not really a factor. There's a big controversy at this moment in Harry Potter. They're doing a Harry Potter series. I think in Snape is, instead of him being white and ugly, he's an attractive black man. And so for me, I'm honestly, I don't really care. I know some people care a lot and they're upset. They're just like, this is always the case, DEI, stuff like that, right? And cool, feel however you want to feel. Interesting that when stuff like that happens, that people get really, really nasty. People kind of show their true colors in a sense, right? But what happens when there is something that someone is so excited about, that someone is a fan of, that they decide to take a certain show or main character or something like that, and they create these characters in their own drawings and images and sketches and things like that. But inspired, they create these people or these main characters in their own way. So you have definitely, you have obviously Superman, who is white. You have Goku, who is technically white-ish, right? You have a bunch of different main characters. You have a bunch of different anime characters. And because it's the anime channel, I'm going to be focusing more on that. That there are people that draw fan art in a way that is black. For example, if you can see this, my laptop, right? I got some of these Anime NYC last year, not the one that just passed, just the one that was like in the winter time when it was like really cold. And I got this these fan arts of Vegeta and Yusuke. Now, fire. I forget who made this, but fire. Yusuke, fire, one of my favorite characters, fire, made this. For a while, since I was a little kid, people have been drawing fan art of their favorite characters in fantasy, but creating them with black skin. Honestly, cool. No problem with that at all. Now you have some people that are just like, oh, why are you drawing a black character even though this person's supposed to be this character? Yada, yada, yada. It doesn't really matter. Do I really care about integrity that much? I don't really think you do. But what happens? What happens when there is someone that draws a fan art, but they get bullied by the masses to take down this fan art? I saw the story on Threads where a artist, 16-year-old, girl, decided to do a fan art of DanDaDan. Now, DanDaDan right now is popping. It's popular. A lot of people like it. A lot of people love it. A lot of people are appreciating the story. And this person decided that she liked the series so much that she decided to do fan art. Now, people do fan art all the time. Right? But there's one particular issue that made this a problem, and saying that Japanese fans were bullying a 16-year-old artist for race swapping DanDaDan. Now, this is the artwork here. And this is what it looks like. Honestly, I think it's pretty dope. I think it's really cool. I think she was inspired by this. And you have this all the time, right? And for some, any other inspired anime whatever you draw black anime, a character as a black anime character, Goku, Naruto, oh, you have all this all the time, right? Doesn't get backlash. But I do think because this is a new and really popular series that people are coming out the woodwork and going crazy at this girl who's 16 years old, right? So I love the fan art. I appreciate it. I think it's cool. Didn't really think anything by it, right? Now, let's go to Anime Senpai here. Anime Senpai, it says, race swap DanDaDan fan art sparks backlash from Japanese fans, leading artists to privatize X account. Now, Twitter is already garbage. Not surprised if that happens there, right? This is recently fan art of the popular ongoing series, DanDaDan, caused significant controversy online. A 16-year-old artist known as Lin shared their art on X, depicting the series' main characters Ken Takakura and Momo Ayase as Americans. Ken was reimagined as a young African-American male, and Momo as a dark-skinned American girl. Now, I don't understand it. I don't understand the backlash behind it. Like, her art is really, really cool, and maybe some people were just hating that it was actually really cool. But this is the art in full, right? Saying I ended up doing them. Like, and it seems like this person, like this artist, this 6-year-old artist, does this. Like, she, she does fan art all the time in black and making characters in a black image, right? Cool. This happens all the time. This is a thing. And the art quickly drew criticism, particularly from Japanese social media users who accused the artist of blackwashing the characters. One widely shared response compared Lin's art to the original character designs and captioned it with, "I'll restore it to its original state for you." This tweet amassed over 180k likes and 13 million views, reflecting the backlash. Another Japanese user expressed frustration, saying, "I'm Japanese, stop making Asian characters black, we're not Disney characters." First of all, y'all are wild. Y'all are so wild. This post gained even more attention with 346,000 likes and 42 million views. And then it says, people hate whitewashing and harassing artists for drawing black characters slightly lighter, but blatantly blackwashing Asian characters is okay. Okay? I really don't understand them. They are hypocrites. Okay, we have this, right? We have this. I'm getting somewhere. And I think this will make sense, right? So it says, they blackwash characters but send death threats to artists who make characters too light-skinned. Okay, that's okay. Fair, maybe, right? The criticism wasn't limited to X. Posts also circulated on Japanese forums like Euron, where many users accused similar sentiments about race-swapping characters being inappropriate. Common arguments include, they always complain about whitewashing, but they have no problem with things like this. It's just fan art. Let them draw whatever they want. This debate wasn't confined to Japan. International anime fans also weighed in, with someone calling out perceived double standards. One user notes, if someone drew a black character with lighter skin, they'd be criticized immediately. So why is this okay? Following the backlash, Lin privatized their X account, likely in response to the overwhelming criticism. Now, this sucks, and I think honestly this is something that hurts a new artist, right? Like, I think this is an inspiring artist, and it seems like she was gaining really good traction, and for a lot of people really liking her art, and I think it's dope as well. But then you have stuff like this, which this is different from just regular artist criticism, right? This is just straight up bullying. For someone who, there was no ill intention, there was nothing that was wrong with it, and what she did is just people that were just mean and nasty to a 16-year-old girl for no reason. We have people complaining about this, right? We have people saying that, like, yo, I don't want my characters being represented in a different way. I want them to stay the same always, right? Then you have people that are like, this is always happening, like black people or whatever are always complaining when there's a character that's theirs. It's always like, they changed the race or they make them a little lighter or whatever, right? That, I think that some of that was in itself. I'm looking on threads in the black community with Green Lantern being a lighter skinned character, right? Even though I think the Green Lantern that we're used to or that we've seen was a little bit darker skinned. Cool, fair, whatever, right? Let's think about it like this. This does not matter because her fan art doesn't contribute anything extra to the story. It's just fan art. Like, her fan art is literally her expressing herself, showing her appreciation for this character by doing this. And people are like, oh, like, you know, this is always happening, whatever, yada, yada, yada. The reason why some people complain and why people complain about fan art or just about a character being race swapped or whatever is because usually, most times, especially if it's a black character, say for example, we're talking about Black Panther, right? Black Panther needs to be Black Panther. Black Panther needs to be black. Most importantly, Black Panther needs to come from Wakanda. Like, you can't have a Black Panther and race swap him for being white. That's not a thing, because Black Panther's ethnicity, the kingdom there, everything there contributes to the story. It's an essential part of the story. Now, if, say for example, you take someone like Superman. Superman is a white man, right? Obviously a white Kryptonian man or whatever, right? You race swap Superman for being a black man or for being a Asian man, Mexican man, whatever. It doesn't hurt the story at all. Because Superman's qualities, Superman and who he is and what he does, a lot of people can embody that, whether he's white or not. And so this, and the same thing with I think the same thing with someone like Goku, right? If this was to happen, Goku turns out to be a black man, right? Doesn't take away anything from the story at all, right? Like, and honestly, like I think black fans, right? I think black fans, like, we want more representation for characters and things, right? And there are people making their own characters. They're making it happen for them. They're doing that, right? Great. But if I'm being honest, there's no shortage of Asian anime characters. First of all, most, like, and granted, DanDaDan is in a Japanese setting, right? High school, cool, whatever, right? Most anime characters, you can swap them out. Like, you can change their color, whatever. It doesn't necessarily take away anything from the story, right? Goku gets turned to a black man or any other ethnicity doesn't take away from the story, right? And like, I think it's so petty. I think it's so petty is that you have to ask those same people, okay, you see black fan art and you're tired of this. What exactly is this taking away from the story? Is it taking away anything from the story at all? Because I don't think it is. It's just that you're being petty. You're being a bully for no reason and being really nasty because you can. Because it's the internet. It's where you can say things about people and bully people without receiving consequences for it. Now, I do think, and this is that at the end of the day, we're all going to be held accountable for what we say and what we do. As a Christian, I believe that Jesus is he's going to, at the end of the day, hold us accountable for every word that we say. And so, and this goes to the international community. If you're a person that's like, you don't mind that this person was being bullied, whatever, cool. I think you got to examine your heart, right? Like, most likely some of y'all, I mean, I hope this isn't the case. And if the artist that sees this, Lynn, if she sees this, I want to empower you to keep making fan art. I want you to keep making art. I want you to keep being inspired by these things and don't let these people stop you from making art. But it's like, it's crazy. I don't think it takes away anything from the story. I think people are just bitter and upset for no reason. And like, I've said this before, but I think this shows the idolization of anime and Japan when it comes to stuff like this. Like we think that something like Japan and the art that they create is stained or whatever if you have other people that either cosplay that aren't Asian, or we have fan art like this. Like, we think it's stained and that it shouldn't happen, that we should respect Japanese art, like we should respect the original. Like, what do you think? Like, why do you think people create a story? Why do you think people create different sort of things and they want people to become fans of their stories. I get people in there like, oh, like black people are like, or whatever, are complaining about, you know, this and like they're always race swapping or whatever. I mean, why do you have a problem with it? Does it impact your daily life? Does it hurt for someone to be proud of the artwork that they did and show it off? Does it take away anything from the story? I don't think so. I think this, you know, this is annoying to me. And this is the part I hate about fandom, bro. Like this side of fandom, and people are like always so like, they want to send death threats and things and be so toxic towards in this fandom, and we wonder why like people from the outside like look at us weird when we like anime and manga and all these other things, because nerds, people that like anime and manga, y'all are not great people sometimes. Y'all are really like, y'all will be so up here with, you know, getting everything right to the detail, and when someone doesn't, we're sending death threats, we're saying nasty things about people, we're just being crazy. And like, let's think about it like this. Would your favorite anime character want you acting like this? Matter of fact, let me take it a little bit deeper. Would your favorite anime character even like you if you were treating other people this way? Because most of the anime characters, like literally DanDaDan, like right, like Momo, and Takakura, in a sense, and more so Ken Takakura, right? He was bullied for believing in aliens. Like, he was made fun of for believing in aliens. He was treated a certain way for a certain belief. And Momo stepped in. Made him have hope that he had a friend. Stepped in from him being bullied. And yet, anime fans that were, you know, anime fans that were treated a certain way supposedly growing up, not saying that they weren't, this is the, whatever, that were treated a certain way growing up, that were bullied for liking anime or watching anime or reading manga or, you know, playing video, whatever it may be, are now grown up adults and now are bullying other people for something that they don't necessarily like. If you don't like it, you could definitely scroll past it, but like now you're bullying someone for what they like. A little bit of a hypocrisy, you know? Granted, like, feel how you want to feel about, you know, characters being race swapped. Feel how you want to feel about that. That's cool. But when you go to the effort, like literally the effort, and you feel like you gotta blast somebody on social media a certain way, and you get the dopamine hit at the end of the day, you gotta ask yourself, is it worth it? I don't think it is. Like, we always want to say, like, treat people how you want to be treated. And yet, when it comes to these internet spaces, especially in fandom, and we don't treat people that way. We treat people as if they're just not people at all. And it's actually discouraging. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. And I will catch you later.